Hi everyone, Sebastien here. So today I want to talk about the differences and the similarities between the Mini Pro on my left and the Mega Pro on my right. So first let's talk about the word Mini versus Mega. So obviously over here you look at those two machines and you think, well, that machine is not really a miniature version of the Mega. And you are right, okay? The Mini actually came after, or the Mini Pro came after the Mini, and the Mini came after the Micro. So during the time so in 2020, we launched the Micro, and then the Micro was extremely successful. And then we had some people desiring a machine that was a little bit bigger. So I made the Mini. And then after that, I saw that there was a little bit of room left between a Mini and a Mega. So I decided to do the Mini Pro, which was going to be a slightly longer machine. The Mini Pro is about 117 inches in length. The Mega Pro is about 125 inches in length. So you're talking about a difference of 8 inches, not much. And then the width also, same thing. This looks very narrow, right? So if you look at those two machines side by side, this looks almost half narrower than this one. But this is actually 28 inches. So if you calculate the distance between one side handle to the next, you're at 28 inches. On the Mega Pro, 31 inches. So we're talking about a 3-inch difference. That's it. So the Mega Pro is 8 inches longer, 3 inches wider than the Mini Pro. But the Mini Pro looks much smaller, right? Probably because of the carriage. On the Mini Pro, the width of the Mini Pro is 24 inches, okay? The width of the Mega Pro is 31 inches. So that's 3 inches, makes a big difference. Sorry, the 31 inches versus 24 inches, we're talking about a 7-inch difference on the width. And that's, I think, probably what makes the biggest difference between those two carriages is really the width of the carriage itself. The Mini Pro is obviously smaller, but it's not so small that you can put twice as many Megaformers. So if you're going to operate with a small room, let's say 1,000 square feet or less, you could probably fit about 10, maybe 11 Mega Pro in 1,000 square feet, depending on how close you want these machines to be. And you could probably put 12 to 13 Mini Pro in the same room, depending how close you want them to be, okay? The reality is you can squeeze in a few more Mini Pros because over here, essentially, you don't have these rails. So this over here, this is the M3 chassis, and it comes out, right? So that kind of prevents you from, it kind of eat a little bit of floor space. But here you can come super close. So you can see that Monorail really allows you to, the Monorail really makes the machine more compact. Now, by the way, a quick word about the Monorail. The Mega Pro is the last machine that we're going to make at Lagree Fitness, which feature the M3 chassis. That chassis is 14 years old, right? So it came out with the M3. We've been using it on the M3, the M3S, the M3K, the M3X, the M3E, which a lot of people don't know about, and of course the Evo 1, and now the Mega Pro. So the Mega Pro will be the last model using the system. After that, the new Megas coming out will all be on the Monorail system like the Mini Pro. So the Mini Pro for me is a great machine because I was testing out essentially the future of Lagree Fitness. And what is the future of Lagree Fitness? Well, beside the digitalization of the equipment, we're talking about a whole new structure, and the Monorail is actually a better structure. So during this course of the presentation, I cannot tell you which machine is best because there's an amazing component about the Mini Pro that I love, such as the Monorail, and there are amazing things I love about the Mega Pro, like for example, the width of the carriage, because I'm 6'4". On a carriage that's a little bigger, I can operate more efficiently. So let's talk about the features more specifically. So when we go on the front platform, when I made the Mini and when I made the Mini Pro, I just didn't want to recreate a Micro that was bigger. I wanted to offer something new. So in 2016, I was working on a machine called the Supra. And the Supra is an incredible machine. It's a machine that inclines on the back. It tilts like an airplane. When you work out on that machine, it feels like you're actually working out on a flight simulator. So you can hit all your core muscles. It feels incredible. You hit your body, you target muscles in your body that you can't using a regular machine. It's impossible. The Supra was so new that I have actually 100 independent claims on my patent. So it's like having 100 patents for the same invention. And on the Supra, I earned my first method patent, which was a method patent on a full body workout, and so on a total body workout. And I'm actually right now the only person in the world to have a method patent on a full body workout for the use of the Supra. So these angles, people love the Supra when they were doing the skating and other kind of exercise. It just puts you in such a position that you felt your glutes and you felt your abs in ways, again, that is not achievable on this machine. So how could I recreate this experience without going to the trouble of adding actuators and electronics and computers and wires and plugging all that stuff? So I thought, well, what I could do is I could make the Mini and the Mini Pro with a hinging front platform. I wonder what this feature would do. So on the Mini Pro, I decided I'm gonna have a front platform that hinge, okay? Because when I built the Mini and the Mini Pro, it was based on the Micro, and the Micro is modular. You can buy the Micro base unit, and then you can add from it. You can add the side handles, you can add the rear platform on the back, you can put the side handles on the back. You can literally build your own Micro, and you can spend as much money as you want, right? And you can build it over time if you want to, right? You don't have to get the whole enchilada all at once. You can just build it up, right? So I did the same concept for the Mini and Mini Pro. When you buy these machines, you buy them flat on the ground, you buy them with the front platform and the carriage, and then you go from there. So it's super easy for costs, and that's why we're selling a lot of Micros and Mini Pros at the moment to studios, because it's a very affordable way to launch a studio. The Mega Pro comes like this, right? So if you order the Mega Pro for a studio, you're gonna pay $9,000 essentially, $8,900, and that's it. You cannot pick and choose what you want on the machine. But on the Mini and the Mini Pro, you can, and that was a fantastic option for many people who are now starting a studio. So beside that, I wanted new technological innovation. You know me, I have 182 patents, probably 190 patents by now. I love innovations. When I start something and it's done, then I'm on something else new. I can't help myself. I love to progress the method, and I love to progress the workout, and I love to show you new, cool, interesting things. I love to do this, right? This is what I do. So on the platform over here, what's cool with this is that you have all these adjustment, all these different positions. You have 6 adjustable positions on the platform. So when you are, for example, all the way up over here, right? You don't really need the side handle. So if you're gonna do an exercise like the catfish or the twister, on the Mega Pro, you have to use the side handles, right? But on the Mini Pro, you don't need to. You can use the side handles. You can also put your hands right over here if you want to on the high platform. So a lot of people like that crossbar position that we had on the Proformer in the early days, or the M1, the M2, M3, same thing. And you can choose wherever you want to put your hands on this. So this is fantastic, because when you do an exercise like the catfish or the twister, you have really unlimited, not unlimited, but you have a lot of position for your hands and feet, and you can do a mini catfish, which you cannot do on the Mega Pro, right? You can literally pick and choose the angle at which you want to work out on. So this is a phenomenal feature. The platform works really well. You have a release mechanism over here. There's a little bit of wiggle room, but once you put your hands, once the platform is secured in a position, it's not going anywhere. So it's super safe to use, and it gives you just an incredible range of adjustments, you know, for your exercises. So people love that stuff, right? When I made the Mini, it was pretty much the adjustable platform and then a carriage. And like I said before, we had the Mini, and I realized there was room for one more machine between the Mini and the Mega. I kind of like the Russian doll concept, right? You have the Micro, you have the Mini Pro, and then the Mega. So I'm like, okay, if I make the Mini Pro longer and I make the carriage longer, I do want to add one more feature, and then the feature that I wanted to add was another platform lift in the carriage itself. So on the Mini Pro, I'm going to put the platform down. On the Mini Pro over here, you have a lift on the platform. That angle matches the first angle on the Mini Pro. So now what you have about a 15-degree angle, kind of a smooth V position. Why will I do that? Well, very simple. Actually, you know, you don't have to be a genius to figure it out that actually those angles are going to give you an incredible amount of support when you do exercises. One of the reasons that we have straps on the Mega Pro, right? This is to basically secure your feet on the platform and the carriage so that your feet are not going over the place, right? when you do an exercise like the skating, it's very easy for your feet to slip if you use a lot of tension. Now, you don't really need the strap for this, because now you have the V position. In the V position and your feet on top of it, your feet are not going to go anywhere. Plus, on top of it, you can select the height that you want, and depending on the height, you'll target different areas of the same muscles. So you go higher in the glutes. If you put your feet higher on the glutes, you go higher into the glutes. It's amazing. So not only this gives you a better anchoring position, but it gives you a different angles on the muscle, but it also supports your joints and your connective tissues. So now when you actually put your feet on the platform, you'll see that your ankle actually stays at a 90-degree angle. When your feet are flat on the platform and you're skating, all the tension, all the energy goes on the ankle and tries to push the ankles outward. You have to put more effort into stabilizing the exercise. With the V position for the exercise like the skating, for example, you get more support, so it's less inflammation, less impact on the joints, and more muscular stimulation. So the first time I got the Mini Pro here, when I got my first prototype, I got on the machine and my brain went like this. It's one thing to write it down on paper. It's one thing to talk with the engineers and to sketch it out. It's another thing when you actually see the machine and you work out on it and you realize, oh my God, these angles are incredible. As soon as I worked out on the Mini Pro the first time, I'm like, okay, I have to do the same version on the Mega, which is the Mega Pro. So the Mega Pro is basically based on the Mini Pro on the hinges, okay? So the hinge on the front platform on the Mini Pro, you have 6 different positions. On the Mega Pro, you don't, okay? You don't because essentially you have these high handles over here. On the Mini Pro, these side handles are optional. When you buy the Mini Pro, it comes flat on the ground with the platform and the carriage, and that's it. And that's $29.90, okay? Which is a very good price, actually. You could actually start a studio with those machines without the lift and the side handles, and then you're fine, okay? Like I said, on the Mega Pro, when you spend the money, you get the entire machine. So on the Mega Pro, you get the side handles, and this is what you're going to use basically for your catfish, your twister. You'll use this bar over here for Mega Catfish, for the spider kicks, Mega Donkey Kick. Over here, you can use the side handles, but a lot of people use that front platform as well, okay? So front platform on the Mega Pro only goes to 1 level. Front platform on the Mini Pro goes to 6 levels, but you don't need it on the Mega Pro because you have the side handles that are coming with it that you can also use for other exercises, all right? Then we go into the carriage. So the carriage here, you have the platform mechanism, which allows you to basically do the V position, and you have the same system over here on the carriage, except the carriage here is a little bit sophisticated. On this one, you have a handle that you twist up. On the platform, you have a latch that you need to release in order to lock your platform in different positions. On the Mega Pro, we went a step further. You don't need to. You just lift the platform up, and then it's already there. It's kind of like magic, right? So definitely a more efficient way of lifting the platform. The rest of the carriage, you have basically the rest of your carriage over here. You have your ring of fire that goes around. On the Mega Pro, we have the exact same feature, except that we were able, because the carriage is a little bit bigger, we were able to add another platform on the back, right, of the carriage, so that now we can also have the same V position for the exercise on the back. So here you have 4 panels that lift. On the Mini Pro, you only have 3 panels. You have the front platform, the rear platform, and of course, you have the lift on the carriage, but you don't have that 4th lift over here at the back of the carriage, okay? The other thing that we did differently is on the ring of fire on the Mini Pro is continuous, just like on the Evo 1. And then on the Mega Pro, we actually broke it down into 4 individual bar. Why? I am working on your new ring of fire. I can't share too many details, but this is where we had to break it down. So I'm still working on the ring of fire, and a new design for the ring of fire will probably come out maybe this year or next year, okay? The other big feature of the carriage is, of course, the panels. Here it's like one big pad. Here you have 3 different panels. So what's great with these panels, it gives you an incredible range of anchoring points because now you can actually put your hands inside, or your feet or your knees inside the carriage, in the center, in the middle of the carriage, which you cannot do on the Mini Pro or any of the Megas actually. So you have way more anchoring points. The Mega Pro has more anchoring points than any other machine on the market today, because you have the anchoring points of the Ring of Fire, you have the anchoring points around the panels themselves, but when you lift the pad up, that also provides an incredible range of anchoring points, because you can actually put your hands wherever you want on the slope, and that also provides you additional anchoring points. So this is amazing. This is going to help you tremendously when you do exercise like the wheelbarrow, the bear, the cobra, the catfish, all these exercises, of course, runner's lunge, skating, standing on thighs, all that stuff. The pads that lift up, right, those panels that lift up, will actually change every exercise which combines the platform and the carriage. Now, if you do an exercise like the super lunge, where you are only on the carriage, the panels, the lift in the panels will not affect that exercise. But don't worry, I'm already working on an improvement for that. Okay, so you have your panels. Of course, you have the indicias. The Mega Pro has more indicias because it's a bigger machine. So over here, you have the same point that you would find on the M3, M3S, M3K, and so on. Okay. The other difference is, of course, the width of the carriage, and that's a big difference. So the length is about the same, right? We're talking about, I think, a 41, 42 inches length on the carriage. This is slightly shorter on the Mini Pro, but about the same length. The width is what makes a difference. So when I work out on the Mini Pro, I kind of feel like at 6'4", I don't have a lot of lateral adjustments, right? So a lot of lateral flexibility. I'm kind of stuck on that carriage, and then that's it. Now, if I'm 5'8", that's a different story. If I'm 5'4", I don't really notice it. If you're 5'4", 5'5", 5'6", you won't really notice the difference, between the width of the carriage. But if you're 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", you will feel the difference. And at 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", you will prefer to be on the Mega Pro versus being on the Mini Pro. That's the way it is, okay? Spring adjustments, we have the same spring adjustment. We have the quick release over here on the Mega Pro. So this is based on the M3 technology, essentially. So you lift your knobs up. You have 8 springs on the Mega Pro. You have essentially 4 lights, 3 heavy, and 1 extra light. That extra light spring came from the Mini Pro, because on the Mini Pro you have only 5 springs, but you have 1 super light, 1 light, 2 medium, and 1 heavy, okay? The resistance gives you pretty much the same. I think over here we're close to, 250 pounds, maybe 300 pounds of tension. Here about 200 pounds of tension, right? But you remember that you're not going to do the exercise with 200 pounds of tension because you are working against your own body. Matter of fact, the less amount of springs you work with, usually the more difficult the exercise becomes, right? So you don't need like 500 or 600 pounds of tension. As long as you have at least 150 pounds, you're good, So this has 8 springs, 3 different strengths, 5 springs, 4 different strengths, okay? The wide spring is actually something, so on the Micro, we realized that we had a light and a heavy, and then we realized that the light spring was actually just still too heavy, so then we made a super light spring, and I love working that super light. All of a sudden, like, oh my God, I should have done this literally 15 years ago. So now we have the silver spring, which represent the extra light spring on the Mini Pro, and the Micro, right? So the springs on the Micro, the springs on the Mini and the Mini Pro are identical. It's the same spring, okay? The springs on the Mega Pro are not compatible with the Mini Pro. It's a different system, but the resistance is very similar, okay? So when you get on these machines, you'll feel like you're working with the same spring, even though the springs are different. On the back of the machine over here, you have the same system. You have your side handles. So when you buy your Mini Pro, you're going to have to configure your Mini Pro, because when you buy the Mini Pro, it doesn't come like this, okay? It comes with the platform, the carriage, and the rail, and also the cable. The cables come included already with the Mini Pro. On the Mega Pro, all the accessories are separate. You will need to buy your long black cables, your short red cables, whatever you want to do, whatever accessories you want, you will have to buy them separately for the Mega Pro, but not for the Mini Pro. Mini Pro only has 1 set of cable, but these cables are short, and it comes with an extension. So essentially, these pulleys over here can be used for both the short red cables or the long black cables. Actually, it comes with an extension, and there's a third position in there. So you can have short, medium, or long cables with the Mini Pro. That option is not available on the Mega Pro, but on the Mega Pro, you do have 3 different attachments over here. So technically, you could put 3 cables as well if you wanted to on the Mega Pro. There's 3 openings on the Carriage. You could put 3 cables if you want to. We only sell long and short cables, but if there was a demand for medium-sized cable, I would do them, but I don't really think we need to go that far. So now we have the platform on the back that operates, that works exactly the same way as the platform on the front. Again, when you buy the Mini Pro, you have to specify to us that you want a rear platform and the handles, okay? We also have a lift kit, which is over here. The lift kit is $900, so it's pretty expensive, but if you're gonna operate the Mini Pro in a class environment for a commercial purpose, I highly recommend to prop your Mini Pro up and then to get the lift kit because it looks more like a Megaformer. This looks more like a product that we make. But some studios have opened the Mini Pro with the machine flat on the floor, and it's up to you, okay? There's no judgment on my part, but if I were gonna operate a studio with the Mini Pro, I would want them with the lift kit. It looks a bit better. All right, this is already up. The Mega Pro cannot be used flat on the ground. It doesn't come like this. It is up all the time. Now I wanna go about really the last and then really key element. So I keep talking about this monorail. You have probably heard me talk about it many times at the summit, talking on podcasts, talking about, I've made probably other references on other videos. We are going monorail. I want to talk about it in this video, but now let's talk about the monorail. The monorail over here is really key. The monorail is what I should have used from the beginning. The monorail allows you to accommodate more people in class, but more people of different fitness level. Because on the monorail, and I will do a special video for all our fans over here that will be on Lagree On Demand and Lagree Academy, and I'm going to show you all the variations, all the modifications of every exercise that we teach on the Mega, on the Mini Pro. And earlier in the video, I was telling you, I don't know which machine is the best, right? I love both machines equally, and there's a lot of things I love about the Mega Pro. I love the size of it. I love how smooth it is. Oh my God, this is so smooth. You guys will not believe it. When you get this, it feels like it's hovering over the rails. And I know about hovering because I actually have a prototype in this warehouse where the carriage is on magnets and it actually floats over the rail. It doesn't touch the rail. It's really cool. It's like the Speedster in Star Wars, okay? I'm a big Star Wars fan. So that's where I get a lot of inspiration, actually, I look from sci-fis and things like that. So I know about hovering, and this is smoother than the hovering, the maglev that we have already built. This is incredible, super smooth. This is smoother than the Mini Pro, and the Mini Pro is pretty smooth already. I don't think you're gonna really, be complaining about this, but this is smooth as butter. I also love the panels on the 2 sides. I love the fact that the carriage is a little wider. But on the Mini Pro, I really love that rail. This is amazing. You can do whatever you want with it. You can step on it. Some people do step up. But here, when you step on this rail, you can do your express lunge. You can do mini express lunge, mini fifth lunge. You don't have to step on the rail. And because now you have access to the space in between the platform and the carriage, you can accommodate everyone. The reason that a lot of people struggle when they do express lunge and fifth lunge is because when you do this exercise on the Mega, you're selecting the furthest point away from the carriage. So this is actually the most difficult position to do the express lunge or the fifth lunge. It's the most difficult position when you do the reverse giant bear or the reverse giant wheelbarrow and so on. That rear platform is the single most difficult position. So when you have newbies in class, you have them starting in the most difficult position. It's only for the rear, right? Because on the front, the platform is next to the carriage, so the platform is actually the easiest point. Okay, so remember, it's completely reversed because of the mechanics of the carriage and the spring. So on the back end, over here, a lot of you call this the well. Please don't call this the well, okay? I call it Area 51 now. That's it. You know why we call it Area 51? Because the well is not supposed to exist, yet it's there. There's this big empty space between the platform and the carriage. but I don't like the well. What are you thinking about? Who came up with this word? I have never, in the years I've been teaching Lagree, I have never designated this area as the well. So from here on, you're going to call this area 51 because it's there, but on paper, it doesn't exist, right? You can go to area 51, but the government doesn't acknowledge it's there. You can go to area 51 and agree, but I don't acknowledge it's there because we don't do anything in that space. I don't do exercise between the platform and the carriage, especially on the front. I see some of you do this exercise over here. No, we don't do that. The monorail would prevent this. On the monorail, if you want to do exercise between the platform and the carriage, step on that monorail and then use that. So that monorail is going to give you hundreds more modifications and variations on pretty much every exercise that you can think of. So because of that, this is why I've decided that all new machines are going to have a monorail. So we're moving away from the two rails to the monorail. And because of that, and the fact that the Mini Pro is a little bit more compact than the Mega Pro, it's a toss. It really is. You know, I cannot tell you which machine I like best. I love working out on both, and to me, you can't go wrong. So it depends how many machines you want at your studio. It depends really on the features that you want. Are we gonna have a Mini Pro that works more like a Mega Pro? Yeah, maybe in the future it's quite possible that we make some change on the Mini Pro and have a pad on another pad that lifts up on the Mini Pro. The Mini Pro is a brand new machine, okay? This is version 1. We have the version 2 coming in a few months where we actually made the pulleys a little wider. We've improved the system on the springs. We've already made a few changes. So it's not possible to think that in the future, the Mini Pro could have even more elements like the Mega Pro. It's quite possible. But also the Mega Pro is also going to evolve, and then we're also going to have other machines coming out, right? So, you know, I like to do these comparison videos, but, you know, the reality is I'm actively working on developing new machines, right? This is what I do, and I've said that in multiple videos. This is kind of where my strength is. I'm very creative and I'm very curious. So when you combine these two qualities together, you come out with some pretty cool shit, okay? So there is the basic difference. The exercises, you're gonna be able to do actually more exercises on the Mini Pro versus the Mega Pro, and that's not the Mega Pro's fault. That's because of the monorail. The monorail gives you an incredible amount of new exercises, so you will definitely not get bored. Like I said to you right now, we are shooting all our exercises for Lagree On Demand. I'm already going to show you 1,000 exercises for the Mega and 1,000 exercises for the Mini, but technically speaking, you could do so many more, especially using that monorail. So I'm very excited to explore the full potential of the monorail on the Mini Pro. And again, you know, if you open with the Mega Pro in any market, you are going to be the talk of the town. So which one to buy for you guys? This is up to you guys. I cannot make that decision for yourself. If you want more information on the Mini Pro, on the Mega Pro, please email us info@lagreefitness.com. Again, my name is Sebastien Lagree. Thank you for watching.